Hi, I'm Emerson, and this is Emerson Loves.
She's Emerson, whoa. She loves toys, science, and cooking, don't you know? Comment, like, and subscribe before you go.
Today, we are going to talk about the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln was his full name? He doesn't have a middle name like you and me. Isn't that crazy? What's your middle name? Mine's Scarlet. Abe Lincoln was the first Republican president. And he really didn't like being called Abe. He preferred to be called his last name, Lincoln. So he probably wasn't a big fan of his nickname, Honest Abe. You know Abe's favorite sandwich? An Abraham and cheese. That's silly, but probably not accurate. At 6 feet, 4 inches tall, Abraham Lincoln was the tallest president ever. He was also the first president ever to be born outside the original 13 states. Lincoln was born in Kentucky, which he believed was the key to his success. Not really. Do you want to learn how to draw Abraham Lincoln? Great! Let's go! I learned how to draw Abraham Lincoln by watching Art for Kids Hub. If you want to check them out, I have linked to them in the description below. most notable speeches in history, which is referred to as the Gettysburg Address. That day, he wasn't even the main speaker for it. That was the super famous at the time, Everett, who delivered a speech more than 2 hours long. Can you imagine? That was considered entertainment in 1863. They didn't have Roblox or Minecraft, not even Fortnite. Those poor kids. Lincoln's speech was only 272 words, or a little over 2 minutes long. Yet his speech is the one remembered today, not Everett's. Mom said these are tombstones or something, but I don't know why he lost them in Gettysburg. Some people say that Lincoln's speech wasn't well received at the time, but the 2-minute address was interrupted 5 times for applause. During speech given at a cemetery. I don't imagine that was a rowdy crowd ready to burst into applause. When Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address, he had a slight case of smallpox. Smallpox is a virus that spreads by airborne respiratory droplets. Sound familiar? Just wear a mask.
Dr. Isaac, dial 0.
Fourscore and 7 years ago. That's how Lincoln started the Gettysburg Address. When he said score, it meant 20 years. So fourscore is 80 years. So fourscore and 7 years ago meant 87 years ago. My Nana is 87 years old, but I don't think she watched Abraham Lincoln. She was probably too busy. And since the Gettysburg Address was delivered in 1863, 87 years before that was 1776. Does that year ring any bells? No? Okay, we'll get to that in another video. But 1776 was the year America was founded, when the Declaration of Independence was signed. The rest of the speech was pretty great once you get past the math. I liked it so much, I decided to memorize it. Check it out. 80 and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to purposes and all men are created equal. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing of the land nation or one nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on the great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives, that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in another sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it. For above, our poor power to add or detract. The world will no longer remember what we say here, but can never forget what they did here. It's for us living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, as they who fought here and thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and a government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. If you like my costume, I've linked to it in the description below. I love dressing up. Back to Abe. President Lincoln was known for his failures as much as his successes. Lincoln lost an election for the Illinois General Assembly before eventually winning a seat. He lost a race for U.S. Congress before later being elected to Congress. He lost 2 races for the U.S. Senate. He lost the campaign for a vice presidential nomination, all before winning his first presidential election, with only 40% of the popular vote. That is a lot of losing, which shows how much perseverance Lincoln had. And that is a great lesson for everyone to take away from Lincoln's story. Success is accompanied by a lot of failure. Rarely does anything worthwhile or valuable come easy. Work hard, get better. Focus on the process and not the results. Practice, practice, practice. Don't get discouraged. And one day, you might wake up in the White House. There was one place Lincoln almost never lost, though. And that was in the wrestling ring. He had more than 300 wins and only 1 documented loss. He's even in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. I think I could have beat him. I am strong. Do you hear that? That was my magic treasure chest. Let's go see it. My Aunt Shelley gave this to me. She's magical. She makes her hair turn a different color every week. Pink inside like always. Could it be? Could it be? A book about Abraham Lincoln. There's a link in the description below if you would like to check out this great book. I'm giving away 10 copies to people that send me a message through my website at emersonloves.com/contact. Totally free. Who doesn't love free stuff? Lincoln was definitely ahead of his time. He campaigned against slavery in his unsuccessful U.S. Senate campaigns. And that's what helped him gain national attention. That in turn helped him succeed in his presidential elections, which of course gave him the power to sign the Emancipation Proclamation in his fourth presidential term. You know, the great emancipator would have made an awesome wrestling name in the WWE. After winning his second presidential election, someone by the name of John Wilkes Booth was in attendance at his inauguration. Do you know why that's significant? Me either. We'll learn about that when we're older. Lincoln also wanted women to have the right to vote, and is on record saying so as early as 1836, at the age of 27. We didn't get that right until 1920, 84 years later. Come on, America! Women's suffrage. It sounds terrible, but it was a good thing, I promise. A few more interesting notes about Lincoln. He is responsible for Thanksgiving becoming a national holiday. Those poor turkeys. He had a dog named Fido and a cat named Tabby. He actually had a lot of cats. He even fed them on the table in the White House. I love my diabetic cat. But I don't want him on the table where I'm eating. Gross. Last thing Abe ever did was go to a play at Ford Theater in Washington, D.C. I love plays. Probably won't have enjoyed that one, though. Well, that seems like a fitting place to end this video. Thanks for watching Emerson Loves. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and share with your friends and family. This was my first video and I really want to keep making them. You can learn more on my website, emersonloves.com. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and even subscribe to my other YouTube channels. On my website, you can compete for the highest score on my pancake video game. I love pancakes. And I'm giving away a $100 Amazon gift card for the highest score. $100? Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Your entire family will enjoy and it isn't mind-numbing. Thanks again for checking out Emerson Loves. I'm Emerson and I love so many things, especially all of you. Daddy's such a busspot, isn't he? Mom is way more fun.
All the time.